by side, there were squirrels to chase and rabbits to trail. Yes, and if the squirrels had played fair and had not resorted to unsportsmanly tactics by climbing trees when close pressed, there would doubtless have been squirrels to catch as well as to chase. As for the rabbits, they were easier to overtake, and Lady got the lion's share of all such morsels. There was the ice-cool lake to plunge into for a swim or a wallow after a run in the dust and July heat. There was a deliciously comfortable old rug in front of the living room's open fire whereon to lie, shoulder to shoulder, on the nights when the wind screamed through the bare trees and the snow scratched hungrily at the panes. Best of all to them both, there were the master and the mistress, especially the mistress. Any man with money to make the purchase may become a dog's owner, but no man, spend he ever so much coin and food and tact in the effort, may become a dog's master without the consent of the dog. Do you get the difference? And he whom a dog once unreservedly accepts as master is forever that dog's god. To both lad and lady from the first, the man who brought them was not the mere owner but the absolute master. To them he was the unquestioned lord of life and death, the hearer and answerer, the eternal law, his the voice that must be obeyed, whatever the command. From earliest puppyhood, both lad and lady had been brought up within the law. As far back as they could remember, they had known and obeyed the place's simple code. For example, all animals of the woods might lawfully be chased, but the mistress's prized chickens and the other little folk of the place must be ignored no matter how hungry or how playful a collie might chance to be. A human, walking openly or riding down the drive into the place by daylight, must not be barked at, except by way of friendly announcement. But anyone entering the grounds from other ingress than the drive, or anyone walking furtively or with a tramp slouch, must be attacked at sight. Also, the interior of the house was sacrosanct. It was a place for perfect behavior. No rug must be scratched, nothing gnawed or played with. In fact, Lady's one whipping had followed a puppy frolic effort of hers to worry the huge stuffed bald eagle that stood on a papier-mâché stump in the master's study, just off the big living room where the fireplace was. That eagle, shot by himself as it raided the flock of prized chickens, was the delight of the master's heart, and at Lady's attempt on it, he had taught her a lesson that made her cringe for weeks thereafter at bare sight of the dog whip. To this day, she would never walk past the eagle without making the widest possible detour around it. But that punishment had been suffered while she was still in the idiotic days of puppyhood. After she had grown, Lady would no more have thought of tampering with the eagle or with anything else in the house than it would occur to a human to stand on his head in church. Then early one spring came Knave, a showy, magnificent collie, red gold of coat save for a black saddle, and with alert topaz eyes. Knave did not belong to the master, but to a man who, going to Europe for a month, asked him to care for the dog in his absence. The master, glad to have so beautiful an ornament to the place, had willingly consented. He was rewarded when, on the train from town, an admiring crowd of commuters flocked to the baggage car to stare at the splendid-looking collie. The only dissenting note in the praise chorus was the grouchy old baggage man's. "Maybe he's a thoroughbred, like you say," drawled the old fellow to the master, "but I never yet saw a yellow-eyed, prick-eared dog I'd give hell room to." Knave showed his scorn for such silly criticism by a cavernous yawn. "Thoroughbred," grunted the baggage man, "with them streaks of pinkish yeller on the roof of his mouth. Ever see a thoroughbred that didn't have a black mouth roof?" But the old man's slighting words were ignored with disdain by the crowd of volunteer dog experts in the baggage car. In time, the master alighted at his station with Knave straining joyously at the leash. As the master reached the place and turned into the drive, both lad and lady, at sound of his far-off footsteps, came tearing